What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jason Plays back in this jank with another video. I want to take this opportunity to highlight a title that was pivotal in driving my passion for gaming. So my earliest memory of Virtua Fighter would have to be in the arcades and also outside of the movie theaters in the lobby area where you can purchase your concessions. And the reason why this title was so noticeable is because the game was in 3D. The volume was always turned up loud on the machine so you could hear the music, and it just drew you to the arcade machine. So the original Virtua Fighter came out worldwide in December 1993. The game ran on Sega's Model 1 arcade board. It was produced by the Sega and2 team, which was an internal Sega studio headed by Yu Suzuki. Virtua Fighter was the first polygonal 3D fighting game. So you have to imagine you got Street Fighter, Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters, Art of Fighting, all these games on a 2D plane, and then you have something that's 3D. So I can remember every time I got a chance to go to the arcade, I would always make sure that the first game I would go to and play is Virtua Fighter. So later in 1995, Virtua Fighter 2 got ported to the Sega Saturn system. I can clearly remember Aaron Richard had a Sega Saturn. I believe I let him borrow my PlayStation. He had Virtua Fighter 2, so that allowed me the opportunity to get a lot of hours in on VF2. That's when I started to find my way with Lau, and I also started using Shun D, the Drunken Master style. Virtua Fighter 2 felt real smooth and fast. It just brought a different, more realistic element than Tekken. No slight to Tekken, because Tekken I'm a fan as well. So pretty much when it was time for me to trade back the Sega Saturn to Aaron Richard, the next thing I did was save my money to get my own Sega Saturn so that I could play Virtua Fighter 2 whenever I wanted. So Virtua Fighter also led me to playing other games like Virtua Fighter Kids, Fighting Vipers, and Fighters Mega Mix. Now, a third reason why the Virtua Fighter franchise sticks out in my head is that when Virtua Fighter 3 hit the arcade, it was on the Sega Model 3 board, which released in the arcade in 1996. Now, I first saw this game in Orlando, Florida at Disney World. I was on vacation with Deep Creek Bullies. So there was an attraction that we were getting ready to get on, but before we had went to that attraction, we had stopped in the arcade, and that's when I seen the arcade machine for Virtua Fighter 3. I seen there was a semi-long line waiting to get onto the arcade, and I was just watching from the side. At the time, the game looked very realistic, so I wanted to chill and see the game so bad. I told my friend to go ahead to whatever attraction that they were going to, and I would sit here and wait on them. And unfortunately, after sitting there and watching the game for an extended period of time, I realized that nobody came back to get me. Back in those days, we didn't have cell phones, so basically we ended up having to meet back up at the hotel. So later on in 1999, when the Sega Dreamcast came out, Virtua Fighter 3 ended up launching on the Dreamcast under Virtua Fighter 3 TB. And I can remember playing Virtua Fighter 3 TB feeling like this is arcade perfect. Now Virtua Fighter 4, I have no recollection of playing it. But for sure, Virtua Fighter 5, I remember playing the majority of this game on the Xbox 360. Myself and Aaron Richard had plenty of battles on Virtua Fighter 5, which came out in 2006. But the Xbox 360 version came out in 2007, and during this time I had started to transition to another character, initially using Lau in most of my matches. I had now started to migrate to use Jackie. So after Virtua Fighter 5 coming out in 2006, we didn't get a fully remastered version of Virtua Fighter 5 until Ultimate Showdown, which was released on the PlayStation 4 in 2021. So it has all updated graphics, some new effects, as a lot lot of specific tweaks to the combat. And although the game is very fluid and looks beautiful, it's still not a new Virtua Fighter. So it's gonna be about 18, 19 years. We finally get a brand new entry of Virtua Fighter. What was revealed to the world by Sega is the Virtua Fighter project. Now this game is being developed by Yuga Gotoku Studios. This is the studio behind the Yakuza and Like a Dragon series. This also will be the first Virtua Fighter title in history to not be developed by Sega's Antu studio. And this also will be the second Virtua Fighter title developed by the Yakuza studio. Their first game that they did develop was Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. This Virtua Fighter project tech demo was showcased at CES 2025 during NVIDIA's keynote speech. So an in-engine prototype of Virtua Fighter project seen here, which is supposed to give fans a look into what is hoped to be accomplished in the game's finished title. Sega said that their game is pushing focus on realism in comparison to more flashy graphical or gameplay styles akin to Street Fighter or Tekken. Now this tech demo does look very smooth and very realistic and much different than Tekken. This tech demo is in-engine, but it's not actual gameplay. It's basically a representation of what they hope to create. So I just wanted to share a little bit of history of why I'm looking forward to the next Virtua Fighter game. Hopefully we'll hear some more about this title soon. If you're a Virtua Fighter fan, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got for this video. So if you like this content, hit that like button, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, we gaming ghosts. I'm walking the bull, go, out for the